The narrative of how Amber Ruffin went from being a resident of a tiny town in Nebraska to being a powerful figure in late-night television is one that exemplifies tenacity, humor, and an uncompromising spirit through her journey. Nevertheless, her life was filled with serious challenges, personal losses, and obstacles that she had to conquer. Behind her grin and humorous talent lay a life that she had to overcome. Not only is she the lady who has broken the internet with her hilarious and insightful skits on the Amber Ruffin Show, but she is also a woman who has endured unthinkable adversity in order to be at the point in her life where she is working now. The route that led to Amber's climb to stardom was not a straight one, rather it was one that was fraught with challenges, including racial discrimination, gender prejudice, and the unrelenting struggle to be seen and heard in a field that frequently ignored her. Amber Ruffin was born and reared in Omaha, Nebraska, and was always interested in humor from a young age. However, her life was not without its share of difficulties. She had a difficult time finding her place in the world since she was one of the few children of African descent to grow up in a largely white setting. However, Amber's wit and acute sense of humor were obvious even at an early age, despite the fact that her family came from a working-class background, which meant that comedy was not considered a feasible professional choice. Although she had a natural ability to make others laugh, the social milieu that she was surrounded by was not always encouraging. Despite this, Amber never gave up on her aspirations, which, taken into consideration at the time, appeared to be practically unattainable for someone from her background. After graduating from high school, Amber relocated to Chicago with the intention of working in the comedy industry. During her time there, she became a member of the Second City, a legendary comic company that is well known for its innovative sketch humor. Amber was able to acquire the skills necessary to negotiate the very competitive and largely white comedy scene while she was here. It was not simple for her to break through despite the enormous skill she possessed. Not only did she have to contend with the standard difficulties that are associated with working in the entertainment industry, but she also had to bear the added weight of being a black woman in a setting where diversity was uncommon. In the realm of comedy, particularly in the highest echelons, there was frequently a lack of place inside the industry for someone like her. There were times when she was rejected, when she had doubts, and when she was hesitant, but Amber was not easily discouraged. She discovered consolation in her work and continued to push forward, thinking that her one-of-a-kind voice and viewpoint had a place in the world of comedy. It was when Amber joined Late Night with Seth Meyers as a writer and performer that she received her big break. There were very few women of color in important roles on late-night television at that time, which contributed to the network's reputation for being boring. The original and daring tone of Amber's voice immediately struck out. She started producing sketches that addressed a wide range of topics, from politics to popular culture, and she frequently imbued her work with commentary on issues pertaining to gender and ethnicity. The fact that she was able to successfully combine comedy with social commentary gave her a distinctive voice in a field that was in dire need of further diversity. Nevertheless, it was not always simple. Amber was required to demonstrate her worth on a consistent basis, sometimes in a setting where she was one of the few persons of color present. It was clear to her that she needed to exert twice as much effort in order to earn the respect of her peers, and to ensure that her voice would not be overshadowed by the more seasoned authors who were in her immediate vicinity. Amber was able to carve out a territory for herself by pure drive, demonstrating that the late-night genre has the potential to develop in order to incorporate a wider range of voices. The success that Amber achieved, on the other hand, was not just the consequence of her professional abilities, rather it was also the outcome of personal tragedies and heartaches that she experienced along the road. Her trip was marred by profound personal loss, including the passing of close friends and family members that she had been close with. Amber's ability to transform her suffering into content allowed her to connect with her audience on a more profound level, despite the fact that these times of anguish were considered to be extremely vulnerable. Amber's genuine genius shows through when she is able to strike a balance between comedy and deep passion in her performances. In addition to providing entertainment, she makes use of her position to bring attention to the challenges that many people are confronted with, especially the challenges that African Americans have while coping with systematic racism. Due to the fact that she has never been afraid to face difficult subjects, she is an even more important voice in a sector that is frequently out of touch with reality. It was a defining point in Amber's career when she realized that she wanted to create the Amber Ruffin Show. She finally seized the spotlight as a presenter after years of working behind the scenes in the entertainment industry. Peacock was the first network to air the show, which provided her with an opportunity to demonstrate her personality, sense of humor, and intelligent perspectives on many social and political topics. Amber was confronted with yet another set of difficulties at a late-night location because she was a black lady. One of the challenges she faced was the strain that came with being a pioneer in a field that had not typically made room for those who were similar to her. The difficulty consisted of coming up with a program that was not only original but also remained loyal to her humorous sensibility. The fact that she was aware that her voice was one that needed to be heard led her to accept these challenges eagerly. Putting together a performance from the ground up was not an easy task. In order to fulfill this need, Amber had to venture outside of her comfort zone and assume a leadership role which required her to make challenging choices regarding the course of the performance. It was necessary for her to acquire the knowledge and skills necessary to manage a team, collaborate with producers, and deal with the numerous moving elements that are involved in the production of a successful television program. Despite the fact that Amber was aware of the weight that came with being a pioneer in the realm of late-night television, she managed to handle it with grace and humor. Audiences responded positively to her sincerity and openness on the production process of the program, which further solidified her position as a significant figure in the annals of entertainment history. In addition to her achievements in the field of comedy, Amber Ruffin has emerged as a role model for next generations of women of color who have aspirations of working in the entertainment business. She is not just a lady who is humorous, but she is also a pioneer who has opened doors that others who came before her had been unable to break down. The body of art that Amber has produced serves as a timely reminder that behind every success story is frequently a path of suffering, perseverance, and defiance. Her tale is one of victory over hardship, and it demonstrates that if one is determined enough, they can accomplish anything they set their mind to. The influence of Amber can be observed in the manner in which she has altered the landscape of late-night television by making it more diverse and inclusive, as well as in the manner in which she has encouraged a great number of people to pursue their goals, regardless of how unrealistic some ambitions may appear to be. Not only is it vital to honor Amber's accomplishments, but it is also necessary to appreciate the significant influence that she has had on the culture of comedy as we reflect on her journey. She is a woman who has utilized her position to question cultural conventions, speak truth to power, and create a place where all voices, especially those who are disenfranchised, may be heard. Amber Ruffin is much more than just a late-night presenter, to put it simply. Her ascent to stardom was not an easy one, but it was certainly significant, and her legacy will continue to inspire others for many years to come. With immediate effect, Amber Ruffin will no longer be hosting the White House Correspondents' Dinner. The White House Correspondents' Dinner that was formerly hosted by Amber Ruffin will no longer take place on April 26th. When she was scheduled to perform, was she replaced with another comic who was more in line with this administration? Is that Matt Rife? Who is Tony Hinchcliffe? As a result of an unexpected change of circumstances, there will be no comic performance at all this year. It's like Footloose but for comedy. The WHCA president, Eugene Daniels, sent a note to the organization's members on March 29 explaining that the board of directors had reached a unanimous decision that they would not be hosting a comedy performance this year. At this critically important juncture for journalism, I want to make sure that the focus is not on the politics of division, but rather on recognizing our colleagues for their exceptional work and offering scholarships and mentoring opportunities to the next generation of journalists. In an effort to obtain a comment, Vulture has contacted Ruffin's colleagues. Following Michelle Wolf's contentious act in 2018, the WHCD did not have a comic perform for the first time since 2019. According to Politico, the decision to dismiss Ruffin was made when Taylor Budowich, the deputy chief of staff at the White House, voiced her disapproval of the White House Communications Agency's choice to hire Ruffin. Budowich has been vocal in her criticism of President Trump. Budowich wrote, "This year's WHCA dinner will be hosted by a second-rate comedian who is previewing the event by calling this administration a murderers who want to feel like human beings, but they shouldn't get to feel that way because you're not." This statement was made alongside a video clip of Ruffin referring to the current political climate as bonkers. There is a high probability that Trump will not show up for the event during his previous administration. He did not show up for any of the dinners that were organized. It seems like only yesterday that the WHCA was hailing Ruffin's acceptance as this year's host, as it was stated that she was hired as a result of a unanimous choice. Daniels made the following statement in response to the first announcement of the host on February 4th. "When I began to think about what entertainer would be a perfect fit for the dinner this year, Amber was immediately at the top of my list. It is possible that Seth Meyers may provide her with a new segment entitled Jokes Amber Can Tell on TV, but not at the White House Correspondents' Dinner."